right, hello everyone. I'm Fred Oakman here with Mr. Jake Peters. You're listening to PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 363, where we dive into our thoughts on all things PlayStation. Before we jump in, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. You can also watch the video version of the podcast. And you can check out our trophy list on the PSN. I'm Anchorless_81, and Jake is JakeSaw01. Send your thoughts to PS This Is Awesome at gmail.com. Share the show with friends, and don't forget to rate us. For just $1 on Patreon, you can join the one and only $1 club and receive a die-cut vinyl sticker plus a shout-out on the show. Visit patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to support us. Remember, if you like our podcast, it does a lot of good if you can like, comment, and subscribe to the video on YouTube. And with that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing today? It's Monday.
I'm doing okay because it kind of warmed up today, so we got a lot of the snow melting off my driveway. Fucking finally, we've had all this ice and snow build up for like the past, dude, it's been like almost a month and a half.
Yeah, and
which has been rare the past few years, and finally it all kind of, I can like see my driveway again, which is nice. And it's, it was like 43 when I was on my way home, which is warmer than it's been in a long time. Mm-hmm. And so that's awesome. Other than that, I'm a little tired because I played hockey last night, and I cannot. Have you ever like worked out really hard and then tried to go to sleep after it?
Oh, you can't. You're just wired.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking after the game in the locker room, and one of my buddies was like, he's like, "Oh, I'll go home and go right to sleep." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" And like me and another guy were like, "Dude, it's like I won't freaking sleep until like I think I close my eyes until 12:30, which is late for me for a work night."
Oh yeah,
and
it is late.
And it's especially since like I got done playing it like 7:30 or 7:45, so even whatever that is, like 4 hours later, I was still just so keyed up that I was having trouble sleeping. But dude, I got freaking shivved in the game last night. Someone speared me in the ribs with their stick.
Oh.
And so now like my fucking, this season has been,
you're getting your ass kicked
like,
over there.
I'm just
random shit.
I've gone like years without having like really too many issues, and I've had 4 chest injuries this year alone, which is crazy. And I didn't even do anything wrong. This dude just freaking shivved me. But so yeah, I'm a little bit tender today, but other than that, hanging in there, being a good boy, doing some housework as usual.
Yeah. So did you kick his ass after he did that, or what?
No, I didn't even see who did it. It was like I was on I was on like this partial breakaway, and I was coming in on the net, and this guy kind of caught up with me from behind and just like threw his arms like into my side to kind of I don't know if he was trying to just push me off the puck or something, but the butt end of his stick just literally went right into my rib cage. And of course I like went down and like slid into the boards, and I laid there for a second just to make sure everything was okay. But then I got up, and like the play was already on the other end of the ice. So I have no idea who even fucking did it.
I like how they just resumed and you're just on your stomach probably laying on the ice.
Yeah. The ref, like I got up and I started yelling at the ref. I was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And he was like, "I didn't see it." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh man. Very good. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
I only ever had one sports injury where play resumed when it definitely shouldn't have. I got hit in the forehead with a baseball playing third base.
Oh wow! Like off a bat?
No, the pitcher. The pitcher threw it. So it's a long story, and it sounds like I'm incapable. But first off, I think there we go. Yeah. So we were playing. It was like an all-star game, and I was pretty good at third base, and a lot of pitchers are right-handed, but the guy we had on the mound was left-handed, so his back was facing me. So the chance, usually you can pick someone off on third if you're right-handed because you don't have to do a spin move to throw the ball. This guy was taking a pretty good lead. We tried a couple times. And I was like, dude, if you throw a fucking wild pickoff maneuver to me, they're going to score and take the lead. So I just kept, after that, I shook him off. I'm like, no. And he kept looking back. And I'm like, no. And I fucking stepped away from the back. I'm like, I'm not going to fuck with this anymore. He already tried like 3 pickoff attempts. And I'm not even giving him credence at this point. I'm like, just fucking throw the ball, asshole. Be a better pitcher and strike the batter out. So, anyways, he's not throwing it. He's not throwing it. And I look up, and I just hear, which is the sound of the ball, like flying through the air, and just crack right between my eyes. Hit me, dropped me. I blacked out. I was down like a ton of bricks. This was like, I was probably like 14 or something, 14 or 15 years old. And, I came to, and you're in baseball, so my face is like covered in dust, and I'm like just screaming because I realized what happened. And I was like, I didn't know if my skull was cracked. I didn't know, like it was like excruciating pain. And play resumed. They know the other team scored, and then they walked me off the field and replaced me the day. And then I never went to the hospital. This is like back in the day, they didn't do this kind of shit. And I woke up and my forehead was like, it was ridiculous. It was literally
hell of a goose egg, huh?
It was like my entire forehead and my nose was just out by like an extra 3 inches. And
that's a funny.
Yeah, thought. There was no black and blue. It was just a huge swollen. And
Man.
Yeah, dude. It was awful feeling. It was like no one even gave a shit about me. They just kept playing baseball. Which is kind of cool, honestly, but it sucks. I should have paid attention, but that's my war story for getting hurt in sports. But anyways, I'm doing all right. I didn't really do a whole lot this past weekend. We finished, or this past week we finished up the second custom campaign or quest I have. We're gonna take Super Bowl Sunday off this upcoming week and then get back to it the following weekend. And there was something, I can't remember what the hell it was now. I suppose it doesn't even matter. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of tired of, and then we'll get on to the show, but I have a Toyota Yaris hatchback. It sits low. And this time of year, everyone has their headlights on. Like if I'm driving on the road, it's either before work when it's dark out or it's after work. And now it's staying a little lighter, but like everybody and their mother has an SUV or pickup truck in this area. So those vehicles just sit higher. And whether their brights are on, whether they're not, and whether they're behind me, they're always behind me, and they just have their lights on. And then everyone wants to just ride my ass because I'm in a small car. They just assume they don't know what I'm fucking doing behind the wheel because I have a small car, I think. I can't fucking see shit anymore because these lights are just in my eyes. Like if it could make a sound, it would feels like this. Wah! Like just in my fucking eyes. I'm trying to drive and not hit deer. I just need to get another car because like I can't see shit at night around here because, and I even restored my headlights and they look great. Dude, I'm just tired of everyone just like, and then you have these whatever those like the halogen bulbs now in these cars, and they're just like, it's like, wow, it's great that you can see, but I might cross the center and hit you because I can't tell, where the line is, or I can't see anything 30 feet in front of me. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It's a frustration of mine. I don't know. They should be
especially annoying. What annoys me about a lot of this is that most of the people driving those big ass trucks and shit don't even actually need them because they need a pickup truck. It's like I heard somewhere somebody say that the pickup truck is now like the American sort of luxury sedan, where it's like instead of spending $50,000 on a BMW 3 Series or something, they're spending $50,000 on like an F-150.
Right.
And that's like, the thing.
Yeah.
And because we live in the sticks, everyone, I don't know, thinks that they need a pickup truck. But honestly, it's outside of that. They don't make cars anymore. Like even,
They make
like
cars.
Chevy and Ford and all. No, I'm serious. Like Ford doesn't have a single car in their lineup anymore, other than the Mustang. All of their cars, like their cars, their little cars, are small SUVs that sit up higher.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're just now. To be fair, I mean, I get it. Like it's probably safer. A lot of these vehicles have all-wheel drive and stuff. But it's like the only reason why we're trending to taller vehicles is because of like the truck craze. What we should do is be making the cars smaller, but no, we're just making them fucking huge.
Right.
And so we have to make all the little cars huge now, and it's annoying, and it's inflating the price of everything.
Yeah.
Like you can't buy because pickup trucks are so
They're so
popular.
expensive too.
It's like, oh, you want to buy like a half-ton pickup truck? Be prepared to spend $60,000 because everybody wants one.
Right.
Whereas like 30 years ago, people would be like, you could get one for 20 grand.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We don't need to talk about this because it is a frustration of mine. Dude, I have the Suburban, and there are even times where like I can't fucking see because of people's headlights.
Yeah.
And I sit up high in that thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I might as well be in a fucking go-kart on the highway. It's just like every even cars that regular sized cars that pass me, it's just I feel like their lights are right in my fucking eyes. And
Your car is particularly small.
Yeah, but I mean I even
get it.
my new glasses I got, I bought like the anti-glare. And they're like, yeah, these will help you at night for driving. And they do help, but they don't fix the problem. They are a little better. But anyways, I digress. We can get into games we are playing. Every episode, we talk about video games we're playing, specifically PlayStation games. And this episode will be no different. And the first thing I want to say is, I know I've been talking a big game about getting back to some of these other games. I started like Astro Bot, Metro Awakening, and I beat Final Fantasy, 16. And I told everybody I started that Forged in Shadow Torch game, that platformer. Happy to report, I got around to beating Metro Awakening. I beat the game. It was good, and it's hard to do. I beat it last night on Sunday. I'm recording this on Monday. For those who don't know, the episodes air on Wednesdays. And if you are a patron of the show, you can get them early most times, by a couple days. But so last night I'm playing the game. And it just took a little bit of, I had to kick myself in the ass to put the headset on. I was just like, I know I only have 2 chapters left. I'm just going to fucking do it. I'm just doing it so I can get rid of the game. It's a good game. I have a problem finishing games now. And I'm trying to fix that. That was part of my resolution. Stick with games. Don't keep jumping all over the place. And it didn't work very well because I started that F.I.S.T game before beating Metro Awakening. I still have Astro Bot to beat. But I'll say this. That game is good. Metro's good. And if you're not good with scary games, don't get this. I mean, it's creepy at times. I mean, it's not a horror game, I don't think, but it's scary. There's a lot of shadow. There's like shadow people and stuff. And if they get too close to you, you start losing your vision and they can kill you. And like, there's a weird blowgun that you can use that you get down the road. It's a minor spoiler, but you hold it up to your mouth like this and you got to put an arrow in it. And then you don't even blow. You just pull the trigger, but you have to have it up to your mouth to shoot it. It's a weird mechanic, but it one-shots people. But the reload takes time and, I don't know. It's in this ammo's really scarce. There's a lot of like little collectibles in this game. I've talked about it a few episodes back at this point, but if you like a story, it took me about 8 hours to beat. If you like a good story, you're into the Metro series, it very much feels like a Metro game. It's kind of it's linear for sure, but it's also, the story is a little confusing just because of the way they deliver it. They deliver it through, like, you're by yourself, your character, and he interacts with shadow people. Every once in a while, you'll talk to shadow people, and you'll talk to, like, a guy over a headset and stuff, and they kind of flesh a story out that way. The very beginning is a little slow to start. There's a lot of colony stuff where you're like with all your people, and you get to walk around and talk to different people and just kind of. And there's a couple scenarios where you get to. There's a lot of like railroad cars in the game, in the metro specifically, and you got to power them up and start them. But there's a couple points in the game where the cart, once it starts moving, it just moves on the tracks, and then there's like a Gatling gun thing that you have to hold with 2 hands, and you up is down, left is right, and how it would work in real life. But it doesn't feel weird because you're doing the action. So like, as opposed to like if I had to do it with the joystick, it would feel fucking off. But because you're like in the world, it just feels normal. It's weird the way the brain works. But I got stuck on one of those last night. As soon as I started the game back up, I got stuck on one of these things where the guys kept bombarding me, and I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna quit. And I was like, no, I gotta fucking beat this. And then I beat it, and then the rest was kind of easy. I'm glad I pushed through. But it's a good game if you're a VR person. It's actually on sale right now, and we're going to get to some sales for VR2 here a little bit later on the show. But I don't know what the price is because I own it. It won't show me the price, which is interesting. But I recommend it if you're into VR games and you like a linear story and you're into like a first-person shooter kind of thing. And they did a good job. Vertigo Games did that one. The Arizona Sunshine people, I believe. And I'm also making a lot of progress in F.I.S.T, F-I-S-T. And this is a platform that came out a while back. I got to admit, man, this game is good. I really like it. I'm playing on easy. It's a pretty simple platformer. Your character has some upgrades. You collect coins when you defeat enemies, and those coins can be spent at terminals to upgrade your moves. You get different attachments for your arm. The main one is the big metal fist. I unlocked a second attachment now that's a drill. So kind of like think about like maybe Mario or with like the foxtail or the flower power hat. Like whatever fist you have equipped, it has its own move sets and its own specials. But like you'll find like a wind tunnel. And if you have the drill, you can hold it above your head and spin it, and it kind of opens up like an umbrella and spins, and you can float up. So there's like little shit like that. The boss battles are pretty easy so far. The story's actually kind of fun and cute. This is a great game. I mean, it honestly has, to me, it has some Richard vibe to it, man. Just the kind of cuteness and like the quality, like the graphics and everything, and just the art direction and stuff. It's good, man. Like it's not trying to beat you if you play on easy. The game doesn't try to trick you or fool you. It's not confusing at all for a Metroidvania kind of game. Like there's a lot of dialogue. Spoken dialogue for the characters, a lot of voiceover work, which is nice, always appreciated, and you can skip it if you want. But it's a really cool, cute game, man. And there's a story in there, and they don't feel the need to like talk about what exactly. Like the story is like you're like a rabbit, right? And you're out of retirement or something. You fought in some sort of war. You don't even know what the war was about. You just know that like you were part of you were able to control a mech. So it wasn't just a fist, it was everything. And you have the skill set to do this, and you're like a good warrior. Well, smash cut to the future. These mechs have all been destroyed, and people are, they call them furizins instead of citizens. They call them like furtizans, I think, because they're all like animals. And it's kind of cute. And they, your rabbit guy, one of your friends gets captured by like these robots or something that are taking over, and you go on a rescue mission, and you find the fist, and then it's part of this old mech you used to be able to control. So you're limited with your abilities, but you're excited because you can fucking do shit with it no one else can do. And you go in, you just try to like save people, and you find out, this is a spoiler. I'm going to give you a quick spoiler. This game's so fucking old, but you find out like your old combat buddy from back in the day is now working for the bad guys. And then, so you're slowly like through the game, just the natural progression. You're talking with different characters, and you're trying to figure out why the fuck your friend from back in the day is jumped in with the bad guys. And that's kind of where I'm at. And it's kind of like, I don't know what that war was. I don't really care. I don't need to know. All I need to know is that these guys used to be combat buddies. There's been a separation. It's a very like non-detailed story that's just enough to make you be like, all right, this is cool. It's not heavy at all. It's great. Everything's like just peppered in just right in this game. There are pickups and stuff, but I don't think you even have to look at that stuff. So they do a good job. I'm enjoying that game quite a bit. But Jake, what about you? What are you playing?
So I am still playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's sort of been my kind of daily grind. I'm really enjoying it. I'm kind of just running around the world, enjoying the sunshine and the nature, and doing these like little tasks, and just kind of living in that world a little bit. Like I said before, it's just kind of, I don't know if I'll see it all the way to the end or if it'll end up just being like a bridge game for me or whatever, but I'm still enjoying it. But more importantly for the podcast, I started Resident Evil 4.
Ooh.
In VR, obviously, because I've been tempted to play it in flat screen mode, but I don't know. You've got to play the VR. And remember, the last VR game I played was Half-Life Alyx, and which is widely considered one of the best VR titles, if not the best VR title. Some people would argue, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But dude, man, as soon as I booted into Resident Evil 4 VR mode, I was like, oh my God. It's so good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I would argue that I'm only maybe 2 hours into the game. I would argue that I probably so far prefer Village and the way that the mechanics work in that game. I don't know how much I love the whole melee thing where you're doing like where it like
press
zooms
X
out to like a third person and he does a spin kick or whatever. I get that they kind of have to have that in there because that was like a component of Resident Evil 4 and its combat. Mm-hmm. But it's just weird for like a VR game to like take you out of VR for like an animation and then go back in. Like it's very strange. Like same with like the I do appreciate the ladder climbing mechanic.
Yeah, right.
Because it does the same thing for climbing ladders, because climbing ladders in VR is fucking obnoxious.
You do climb ladders in Metro, just so you know, and it is a manual thing.
Fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's like climbing ladders, opening doors. Like, we don't need to do this in VR. Like, you can just press a button and do it. But the only other thing that I think that's kind of like about it is in terms of the mechanics. The gameplay is amazing, and like the visuals are amazing, the combat's amazing. But like when you have the pistol, you drop, like if you empty the magazine, you drop it, the slide locks back, like in Resident Evil Village. You drop the magazine, you put a new one in, you have to recock the gun to release the first round, and so you can shoot it again. And they did this in Village too, where you could like, you drop the magazine out and you put another one in before you empty it. You don't have to cock the slide, re-rack the gun. The thing that's weird to me though is, and I haven't used all the weapons, but I got the shotgun, and when you reload the shotgun in RE4, you only have to put one shell in and it's fully reloaded. In Village, you actually had to load every individual shell until the gun was full.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's like you literally, like off the bat, it holds 5 rounds. And I'm sitting there like, I put one in and I like keep going to do it and it's not letting me do it anymore. And then I realize, oh, I put one in. It just says that I have 5 rounds.
That's kind of nice.
I mean, it's convenient, but it does kind of like, it hits me in the immersion
Is there a setting?
I don't know. I haven't dug into it because I don't really care that much about it. But it's just one of those things where it's like, this is just kind of a weird thing that I noticed. But man, it is so cool. Like, the game looks incredible, and it plays so well. It is, I mean,
dude, just wait till you get to the
aside
castle.
from Village, like, it is unbelievable how well it plays. And yeah, I'm excited for the castle part. But like, I love that in VR you can parry with the knife. Like, I think that is so fucking cool. Like, cause that isn't like a thing that you can really do in the game all that much. So you can parry with the knife. I mean, I think you can break your knife, right? So like, you can't do it just constantly, but you can parry, which is cool. And then I love that, like, just because you have two hands, you can fucking dual wield the guns if you want to, which like you can't do in the regular game, which is really
you can
rad.
also do like the CQC Metal Gear shit with the knife and the pistol. That's so fun.
Oh yeah. It's pretty rad. I don't really like the stealth kill mechanic.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't like that you have to like hold R2 to flip the knife around, and then you actually have to like do a stabbing motion. It's like one of those things where it's like, this doesn't feel good. Just give me a button to just stealth kill.
Yeah.
And then I like, cause you do this
and you're not making any
stabbing
contact.
motion. Right. But you do like the stabbing motion, and then it like cuts to like an animation anyway of the stealth kill. So it's like, it's not very fluid. Just like, let me press a button and you do the animation and I'm done. Kind of like when you press X to climb the ladders or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But these are all very small nitpicks. I'm really enjoying the game so far. I'm playing it on like the standard difficulty, but I'm realizing that like, dude, there's at least at the beginning, there's ammo and money fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember playing the original game and having it be so... Now, maybe they do that because the VR maybe is a little bit more difficult at the beginning, and so they're trying to ease you into it. I mean, there was maybe one spot where I got a little bit low on handgun ammo, and I had to kill something with a knife. But, like... but, man, like, when the chainsaw guy's chasing you, or, like, there's that spot where, like... you like get into the loft of that barn, and like that dude with the fucking like deer head, like, smashes through the door with that big ass hammer, and you're just like, sorry if you guys consider that a spoiler.
The game is
but
so
people have like heard of this shit. But it's like, oh fuck, and you're like backpedaling, and you're like trying to shoot him as he's climbing through the window, and you're backpedaling, and I mean, it's
cool as shit.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm really digging it. And so I've been thinking about maybe Metro Awakening. I looked it up, by the way. I think is $30. It's 25% off. But my brother bought a VR2. I want to say it was around Christmas or maybe right after Christmas. I don't remember when he bought it. Maybe it was on Black Friday. I don't remember. And we talk occasionally about it. And he was, I wished him a happy birthday today. It was a belated happy birthday wish. And I was like, dude, I was like, just so you know, I bought Resident Evil 4. You should try it. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to. Because I told him to try Village, but he's like, I already played it. Like, I don't really want to go back in.
Yeah.
But, Josh, I don't know if you're listening, but dude, Village in VR is, I don't know what it's like playing flat screen because I didn't play it flat screen. But I imagine it's a vastly different experience in VR. But I can understand if you don't want to relive the story. Like, I understand that. But if you've never played RE4, then yeah, definitely jump right in. Because it's mechanically, it's basically the same as Village. Like I said, Village is a little bit more hardcore about like the reloading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it feels, dude, it's the best. Like I was telling even Josh in my text, I was like, dude, I think at least mechanically and visually, Village and Resident Evil 4 are better than Half-Life Alyx, bar none, in my opinion. And I love Half-Life. Now, you could argue that probably the story and the vibes of Half-Life might be a little bit better. Maybe there's a lot of nostalgia there. I don't know. But that's down to taste, I think.
Yeah.
But if you want to just talk about visuals and like shooting experience and it just feels good to run around. Like some of those VR games, you get real, like they can make you real nauseous and stuff. And that was the one thing I told Josh too. I was like, dude, if you can tough it out and get your sea legs, it's so much better when you do the full smooth look and the smooth movement and everything. Like if you're doing the snap move and everything, it feels very arcadey.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel as immersive as when you're just running around with smooth movement and everything. But it does take a little bit of acclimation. He said he might pop a Dramamine before he plays it, dude, to try it out. And I was like, dude, whatever it takes. It's worth it.
I have one suggestion. We'll get into listener feedback. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm excited to have you keep us posted on it. But I've wanted to do this for a while, and I can think of no better time than now. Now, Jake, this isn't going to be your wheelhouse, I'm sure. But I know LJ listens. He's got a VR too. You've got one. I've got one. Josh apparently has one. There's a game on sale. We're going to get to the sales. It's called After the Fall. It's $9. It's 4-player co-op, and it's a shooting game where you fight like enemies and shit. I think that could make for $9. It would make at least for one really fun evening. I think we should try.
I think for free. I guess I don't know if this. Well, I was gonna say Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
but because they have that free Gran Turismo mode now. But no, I get not everybody's into racing.
Mm-hmm.
But No Man's Sky's not free.
No, I got it for $5.
Yeah, I mean it's probably basically free at this point. But
it's like $25 now or something.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no one to talk. I bought it at full price at launch, so it's not like I saved any money there. But
yeah,
I mean. What's it called? After the Fall?
Yeah,
you said?
It's $8.99. It's on 70% off right now on the store. It's it's an epic VR action first-person shooter with intense co-op gameplay at its core that puts 4 players against post-apocalyptic world filled with ferocious undead. It's story-driven. It's like a linear story. And
when did this come out? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Like, did it just come to PlayStation recently?
No, it's been out for a while on PlayStation, but it seems like it would be actually pretty cool for the 4 of us to organize a day to try to fucking ram jam this game for $9 right now.
It looks pretty
it looks cool.
It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It looks just like an arcadey fucking shoot 'em up.
Yeah, but it's like story driven. You got to keep together and stuff, I think, from what I understand.
Yeah, it might be kind of fun to try.
I've never done anything like that in VR, and I think it could be really fun to look at each other and stuff.
It might be kind of cool, yeah.
All right.
It looks pretty rad.
It does. It looks good.
I'm sure it's not. And it's made by Vertigo too.
Yeah.
So interesting.
LJ, After the Fall, buddy, $8.99 right now. I'll send you a text after the show. Jake, you should pick it up. I might pick it up if I can get anyone to agree to play it with me. I'll do it. All right.
Can you play it by yourself? Because that would be like my.
I have no clue.
Thing is like
you'd have to look that up. I have no idea.
Interesting. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, let's move on. Every episode we talk about listener feedback. We let you guys write in. You can write us psisawesome@gmail.com or leave a comment on our YouTube channel. And we did have one comment from Big Box, who is back and ready to attack. I made a short about us talking about how we said, you said something about how people who play Roblox or Fortnite aren't really even gamers. And I was like, yeah, and I would say the same goes for Minecraft. And you're like, yeah, for sure. So I just took that clip and I titled it, "Is This a Hot Take?" And we had quite a few people write in. One person was like, yeah, this is a fucking terrible take. And then I was like, yeah, well, you gotta listen to it in context. And Big Box writes in, he goes, WTF is this? Fortnite and Minecraft are Mount Rushmore video games. I would argue they're true gamers games because they're 100% player-centric, while games like God of War are more passive. Watch the cutscene, hand-holdy experiences. Those two titles are so important to the medium. Come on! And I said, well, we're dying with laughter over here. You're not wrong, Big Box. Jake and I are just in denial about these games being legit. But he forgives me, but he only half forgives you, Jake. So what do you have to say about
Big
this?
Box, his goal in life is just fuck with me. And I'm surprised he's not like, he's not talking about fucking roguelikes in this comment too. But yeah, see, here's the thing is that when we say Fortnite, so Minecraft, let's start with Minecraft.
Well, that was my suggestion. Minecraft wasn't.
Minecraft, I would argue, is it a gamer's game? When the comment, I guess the context, and maybe this wasn't in the clip. I don't even remember if
intentionally
if
not in the clip because I thought it would be hilarious.
Right. But like, the whole idea is that a vast swath of the people that play those games are more in the I only play Madden football camp. I only play Call of Duty camp.
I only play Minecraft, yeah.
Than they are in the like I enjoy video games as a hobby. And so that was really the gist of the point. Like something like Fortnite is more of like a social experience.
It is anymore, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is competitive and there's a lot, obviously like, dude, Fortnite and Minecraft are two of the most impressive video games ever made. I would never take that away from those games at all. But I think I appreciate the I love that because I saw that clip and I watched it and I was like, I wonder if he intended to leave out all of the context.
Yeah, for sure. I was
because we're literally just like fuck these guys.
I was kind of clickbaiting.
And then it's like
people.
End of the clip.
I was trying to clickbait people.
But yeah, I mean that's really it. And but yeah, if you're looking at like in terms of successful video games, you could definitely argue that Fortnite and Minecraft would be on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
With games like Tetris and shit and Mario.
Yeah.
But like yeah, this is
it's a funny clip.
Is funny because I don't know that I necessarily agree that they're more player centric than a game like God of War, but it's I guess that depends on your definition of player centric because I think about it in the perspective of like the player directly interacting with that game, whereas like games like Minecraft and Fortnite are just as much about players interacting with each other as they are interacting with the game. And that would be sort of like when you say player centric, that's kind of the way that I think about it. But I kind of get where you're talking about like Minecraft is all gameplay. There's no story. And, technically Tetris is all gameplay. There's no story. But
so you could do like a logical fallacy experiment with this. Like you could say, for example, all people who play Minecraft are gamers. Therefore, wait, do it the other way. Hold on. How's that work? You know what I'm saying? I just fucked it up. All people who play Minecraft.
It would be like saying all.
Would it be like all people who?
How would that go?
Yeah, I know. There is a way to do it though. I can't figure it out. It's like
saying something like all gamers like Minecraft, but not all people who like Minecraft are gamers.
Yeah,
it's like something like that.
Who like Minecraft are gamers. Right. Yeah. Well,
that's not a perfect way to say it.
Not all gamers play Minecraft. Wait. All gamers? No. People who play Minecraft are gamers. Therefore, gamers only play Minecraft? No. There's a logic fallacy in that whole thing that I'm trying to prove, but I can't. But anyways, it doesn't matter. You could do one. If you guys figure that out, please list it, because it would prove Jake's point. It would explain what you're trying to say in that sentence, but I can't make it happen right now.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like, you can be a fan of a thing within the realm of one particular giant blanket. I don't know. We could spend all day trying to come up with analogies, but I think the big takeaway from what I was saying was just solely that a lot of, I would argue honestly, maybe even almost the majority of the players that play those are not playing a bunch of other video games. They're playing Minecraft. They're playing Fortnite. That's it. Continue.
This is kind of like what I was going to say. Everyone who plays Minecraft plays video games. However, not everyone who plays Minecraft is a gamer. But that still isn't right. Because I gotta reverse it. Fuck it. Forget about it. That is an idiot anyway.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that saying? I should ask AI. I typed it in Google search, and an AI overview came up. It said this statement is true because while playing Minecraft automatically classifies someone as a video game. Not everyone who plays Minecraft considers themselves a gamer in the sense of actively seeking out and playing a wide variety of complex video games, which is what you're saying. So AI agrees with you, Jake. But anyways,
I'm glad that Gemini fucking agrees with me for all.
That is what it's called, Gemini.
Worth.
Yeah. Anyways, it's fucking funny. Let's move on. We're going to get into some news here. First point of news, which we already kind of briefly touched on, or I already kind of foreshadowed or foreskinned, was that there's a VR 2 sale going on the PlayStation Network. I'm going to give you probably about 10 games here that are on sale that I think are worth your time right now. Phantasmaphobia, I haven't played it, 25% off, $14.99. It's a scary game. You play with friends.
You mean Phasmophobia?
Yeah, what'd I say? Phantasmaphobia? That is a game also, isn't it?
If it is, I'm sorry. I edited the document because I didn't recognize what you said.
I don't know what it's called now. Phasmophobia, I think.
It's just Phasmophobia. Yeah, I googled Phantasmaphobia and that didn't give me anything. So
this is a ghost hunting game where it's co-op. You and a group of people go into a house in VR, and you're exploring and looking for ghosts, and scary things happen. And then you can have one person sitting in like the audio surveillance and video surveillance truck outside, monitoring cameras in all the rooms, trying to direct the other players in the house where the things are happening and how to hide from the ghosts and stuff. It seems pretty cool. $14.99. We could all play that game. RE Village.
My sister-in-law played it a ton.
Oh, really?
On PC, and she fucking loves it.
And that in VR would be awesome. RE Village, $15.99. It's 60% off. We all know about that game. Behemoth, 25% off for $29.99. This game looks fucking dope. It's newer. It's like you go against like these big old... I think it's like kind of medieval feeling looking, but then... medieval meaning like the genre, but then... you go up against these colossi, these big enemies. Creed Rise to Glory on PSVR 2 is 50% off. It's $19.99. I played it on the first VR. It was fun. It was a good little workout. I haven't played it on the new one. This one caught my eye. Arizona Sunshine Remake. Or maybe it's the remaster. I think it's a remaster. But it's $19.79. Also a Vertigo game.
I think it has co-op too.
It might. 34% off. Arizona Sunshine 2, 40% off at $23.99, I believe. And then there's Synth Riders for $13.74, which is a nice 45% off. There's Tetris Effect, which is a fucking awesome game if you haven't played it. 75% off for $10, $9.99. This is a great game. It's so fun in VR. It's magical. There's After the Fall, the game we talked about earlier, 70% off. Co-op single-player shooter. There's Hellsweeper for $14.99, 50% off, and then another game that kind of has my interest is the kind of like it's not an adventure game. It's kind of like maybe it is. It's The Seventh Guest. It's a complete remake of that game in VR for 50% off, $14.99. You're in a mansion with a bunch of different people, and you're trying to solve some sort of puzzle. And I think there's ghosts involved in that as well. And that looks kind of cool. Jake, any of those interest you?
Dude, did fucking Vertigo Games have their hands in like all of this shit?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that Hellsweeper VR game too, and it looks wild as well. And it was published by Vertigo. They didn't make it, but they published
Vertigo's
it.
fucking cutting edge of this shit. They have a big
'Cause
slice of the VR pie.
It looks, dude, this freaking Hellsweeper game looks absolutely insane. I don't know how you don't get absolutely nauseous playing it, but it looks like Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
It's really, really crazy.
It's a nice little selection of deals, though.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Seventh Guest was like an old adventure game, right?
Yeah, it was an old PC game. I probably played it on a Packard Bell back in the day, or maybe a Dell computer.
Maybe a Compaq.
Yeah, Compaq Presario, or maybe a Gateway 2000. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on. EA working on the next Battlefield game. I don't think that it's out. As far as we haven't seen a whole lot. They released a trailer recently called Battlefield Labs. This is essentially, it was announced by EA Dice, of course, as a playtesting grounds for gamers. They can sign up to be able to share their experience with the developer for the upcoming Battlefield game. At the end of this trailer for this here Battlefield Labs, they do show a snippet of the new Battlefield game. And, dude, can we just get back to roots like this? This looks awesome. I remember Battlefield 4. That was a blast. Or maybe 3.
My favorite, I think,
was just Battlefield.
as far as like the campaigns go, was 3. 4 was pretty good too, but 3 especially on PS3 was absolutely rad. And then, but I have the biggest soft spot in my heart for the original Battlefield 1942 on PC. When I was a kid, I used to play that, and I just absolutely, loved it.
It's been a while since we've gotten a proper Battlefield release. And I hope they knock this thing out. And I think this is a good idea. And it's, they're going to, obviously, it's a play test ground. So, they're going to open it up to specific people across the globe and get their impression and their input and hopefully dial this thing in before they release it. I do hope that it comes with a single-player campaign. I don't know if it's going to, but the one they did for World War I was amazing. That was so good. I would like to see, even if it's like little vignettes like that, I'd like to see them do something single-player that just knocks my socks off. That's what...
They made, I was just looking at, they made, a lot of people don't know this, but they made a Battlefield 2142. So Battlefield 2042 was the most recent one. And it's like the near future kind of shit where they had like the Desert Storms and all that crap. In 2006, they made a PC-only one called Battlefield 2142. And it's all futuristic and you can like drive mechs and shit. It was fucking cool. I mean, I only played a little bit of it, but they've done a lot with Battlefield. But I really think that they should just get back to their sort of like roots and just stick with like a modern-esque kind of shooter with, throw a campaign in there. Battlefield 1 was fucking sick.
Yeah, it was.
And, so I'd like to see them get back to doing something like that.
I agree, and I hope they do, because they're a great studio for these Battlefield games. They're always really done well. They're done great. The graphics have always
and release something that isn't broken at launch, like Battlefield 2042 was.
Yeah. Get it right, EA Dice. All right, next news point: MultiVersus. Those of you guys might remember, there was a game that released initially, had a great start, and then they pulled it back. They pulled it off the PlayStation Store, the stores, and they were like, "Oh, now we're gonna really fine tune this bitch." It's called MultiVersus, and they're shutting down. They said that season 5 will be the last season of the game. Now, I don't know if this is due to different IPs or licenses expiring or whatever, but what's interesting is when it was out for so long, and I know my brother was really into it, and he bought some like skins and stuff and different characters, and then they took the game back because it was early access. I don't know, it was something like that, or maybe it was like free. I think it was free for anybody. It was like an abbreviated version of the game, and then every couple weeks they turn off some characters and turn on other characters so you could try out all the different stuff. But my brother like was buying skins and stuff, was really into it, and then they just pulled it from the stores, and they're like, well, now we're going to really bring out something good. And it took them forever. And all that steam they had built up, I think they lost a lot of it. And now they're shutting down the game after season 5. So a lot of people were kind of disappointed about this, the people who stuck with it. But Jake, anything on MultiVersus shutting down?
I never understood that. I mean, given the people's reaction to it, why didn't they just leave it up?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Just patch it to be the 1.0 version or whatever, and then just kind of go from there. Unless like the release that they had out was literally something that they couldn't support moving forward. But they pulled it for like a long time.
Months.
It wasn't like
it was like 6 months.
It wasn't like they just pulled it and then like a couple weeks later put it back up as the 1.0 version. It was like, no, thanks for, you bought all this shit and you played it for a year. We're going to take it down for 6 months, fuck around for a bit, and put it back up and expect everybody to still give a shit.
Be there waiting. In the meantime, Final Fantasy comes out, like God of War Ragnarok comes out, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like all these fucking games.
Like no wonder nobody gives a shit. I mean, dude,
well, some people do give a shit about this, though.
Well, sure, but like all of the casuals that would have probably stuck with it and played it for, a while, like you could have kept them on, chasing the carrot if you had kept it going. But as soon as you cut it out and they got distracted by other things, why would they go back?
Right. I like to call that chasing the dragon, but.
Sorry, chasing the dragon.
Axl Rose and people like him know what that means. Come on.
We don't talk about that here.
I'm not chasing any dragons.
This is a family-friendly podcast.
Oh, no, it isn't. It's explicit. I think that's hilarious, though. All right, it's not hilarious, but it's. Would you say chasing the carrot? Come on, man.
Yeah. Carrot on a stick?
All right.
Bunny rabbits, not drug addicts, my dude.
Chasing the dragon. I should retitle the episode. We just have to put like a Yakuza reference in here and we can justify it. Anyways. That being said, Season 6 of The Division 2 has had the rug pulled out from underneath it. Another game. This game was supported for so long. The game came out in 2019, so roughly 5 years of constant updates and stuff to this game. And I think based on the Push Square article, they said there was like still a regular like 2,000 people playing this game a day, which is significant, I think, for a game that's 6 years old.
But for a product that large that requires that much support, 2,000 players, you might as well shut it down. I mean,
what a great game! It was a great game.
It was good. I bought it for. Remember when it was on sale for like $1 or whatever it was?
Yeah.
And I bought it and I played 20 some hours of it. 15, 20 hours. I really enjoyed it, but it's just it's a little difficult to play by yourself. So even though you can, but it was good.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hope that the Division 3, we know Heartlands got canceled. There was like a spin-off thing that another studio is working on, and hopefully that they are...
they're throwing all their fucking eggs in the Assassin's Creed basket, I think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I would like to see a third Division, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. So,
I think it's in the development.
Yeah, I mean, it has been for a long time. I mean, this game came out 2019, so we haven't, I don't know. So, speaking of Assassin's Creed and EA, or Ubisoft, rather, we're not going to get into the details, but something weird happened with this title. Anyone who's invested in the Assassin's Creed Shadows game or looking forward to it, Jake and I talked about it last episode. We think it looks good. It looks interesting. I would say stop snooping around because apparently the story is leaking through what seems to be the game's art book, which was strangely found on a Japanese hentai porn site. So don't ask me how that happened. But
I'm gonna have a real tough time avoiding this if it's on a Japanese porn site.
you're gonna have a tough time.
I'm gonna have a tough time avoiding this.
Surprised you haven't seen it already. I'm glad I gave you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what they're referring to is like, hey, now that it's out there, it's gonna be spread around,
right?
But it's like, it's just so funny, the idea to me of like all these people getting spoiled because they were looking for porn and they found the Assassin's Creed story,
the art book with all these like clues as to like spoilers, setting spoilers, character spoilers. It's
just like they like jump right into it and they're like, oh, this is not what I was going for at all with my evening.
Come on. I wonder how many people don't even know what it is that they got it. They looked at it and they were just like, I don't know what this is.
They're just like, this isn't porn.
Yeah, this is.
I don't know. Maybe there's porn in Assassin's Creed and that's why it's on there, but I doubt it.
There might be a naked chick in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't know. That'd be awesome if it was some sort of weird sting operation. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just so weird. But anyways, let's move on. This is a really sad point of news and relevant to the show because I just talked about this, beating Darkest Dungeon 2 and doing my custom Hero Quest shit. The voice actor for Darkest Dungeon, Wayne June, passed away. I was just completely flabbergasted by this. Like I couldn't. I felt like somehow I had something to do with this in a weird way. Like I just got done saying how I was using not a similarity to his voice for my Hero Quest shit. He didn't come in and voice anything for me. I would have loved it, but no one knows how he died. That's fine. It can stay private. But the dude, it just makes me wonder. Like, for anyone who's played Darkest Dungeon or Darkest Dungeon 2, his fucking voice carried those games all the way home. In his delivery and his narration. And the one thing that I thought that was really interesting, and granted, they had a work relationship, Red Hook and the the game creator with getting him. And in fact, how they got Wayne June involved is apparently the creator of Darkest Dungeon was listening to a lot of H.P. Lovecraft audio shit that Wayne June had done. And then when they were deciding about they needed someone to voice the trailer for Darkest Dungeon, he said, we should get somebody like Wayne June. That guy's a killer voice. And then they're like, well, that's what he does. Why don't we just ask him? And they asked Wayne, and he was like, yeah, I'm fucking in. This sounds awesome. And he was their guy for 10 years. Those two games, I think it's been about 10 years between the two of them. Those games, they put so much love into them that they go to early access, and then they tweak and tweak and tweak and rebuild the way the games play. But such a loss. This guy had probably, arguably, one of the best macabre voices for this kind of shit, and his delivery was on point for everything. Every line. He would say a word like decimated, like when you got hit or something, and it would just it would shake your skull, like decimated. It was just so good. His delivery, death by 1,000 cuts. It's just all these fucking rad lines. But they wrote the lines for him, so they knew the vibe. But man, he delivered. And I'm really bummed out about this. So, rest in peace, Wayne June, man. And the other thing that surprised me was that they had never met in person. The studio or Wayne, they did all their stuff over the internet. And Wayne had his own recording studio like a lot of voice actors do, and he just did the lines. And I don't know if he ever played the games. I'm sure he's seen the games being played with his voice over top of them and stuff. But the director was saying, like, he would get a lot of the voiceover work they were paying him to do, like in the middle of the night, and his computer would like make a noise, or his phone would make a noise, and it'd be like 1 a.m. And he said he couldn't not listen to it as soon as they came in because the guy was just so on point. He couldn't wait to hear Wayne repeating the lines. Dude, if you guys have not played Darkest Dungeon, I am fucking telling you, I I'll talk to him blue in the face, man. It's one of the best games I think I've ever played. Both 1 and 2. They are just so good. Perfect games. I wouldn't change anything about them. They're really perfect. But that's so depressing, and I don't know what they're going to do because Red Hook just got acquired by the Death by Daylight studio people, and they just wanted them to keep making Darkest Dungeon shit. And without Wayne's voice, that's going to change the terrain here for this game. It's going to change.
Yeah, fuck it. They'll have AI do his voice. It'll be fine.
Well, I posted that on a Reddit thing, and I got like 20 downvotes immediately. They're like, what are we going to do? Like on the Darkest Dungeon thread. And I was like, well, maybe AI needs to be used here, you know? And then people were like, oh, that's so insensitive. That's such disrespect for the art and like all this stuff. And I was just like, and I just put a quote like, a voice calls from the beyond. Strangely familiar. It'd be so good in his voice doing something like that. They could play to it, and I bet you Wayne would fucking love it. If it worked, it would have to carry his soul and essence somehow. But they can't even do it, man. You can't do that because they're not wrong. It would be disgraceful, and it wouldn't be the same. Who do they find? What do they do? What do they just use all the pre-recorded lines they already have and just don't offer any more narrative? I don't know. They're kind of fucked over there at Red Hook. They're gonna have to get really creative because, I'm not just saying this. He carried a lot of that atmosphere, and he just, I don't know, man. His voice was. It was the compression, it was the mastering, it was the glue that just fucking, it was the chef's kiss on that game. And without his voice, the game's still going to be fine. Whatever they work on, still going to be good. But it's not going to have that panache that it fucking needs without his voice. He was integral in that fucking game. And I don't know what they're going to do. I hope that they get creative and they can find a way to do it. I personally would love them to figure out a way and get the blessing from the family to use his voice in an AI form and do something kind of like really fucking interesting, and use it knowing that the fan base knows that he passed, but like have it say some really fucking touching and cool ass shit, you know? Even from the darkness, the voice still rings out. Something fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, because I think the one thing, one of the lines of the main line from Darkest Dungeon 1 is ruin has come to our family. And as soon as he died, that thread was just like, ruin has come to our family. Everyone's just fucking posting that. But there is a line in Darkest Dungeon 2 where it's like, we are the light that shines brightest in the darkness. And it's just like, man, there's so many opportunities to use this in a tasteful way. But I'm sure there's so many legal loopholes, and I'm sure there's got to be a ton of morality. Where's your moral compass on this? Is it okay to do? Is it not okay to do? Would Wayne have approved this? Surely they don't have something in writing from saying, if I ever fucking die, you can use my voice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that doesn't exist. Unless it was a terminal thing, and he knew he was dying, and he put something in his will just saying, I want the boys at Red Hook to keep my voice in their games however they can. Who knows? Something that could exist. But even if Wayne gave them their blessing to use his voice in AI, the shitstorm they would get if they did, and even did so transparently, because some people are so vehemently against AI. They'd be like, oh, you're stealing art, you're stealing a voice acting job from somebody else, this is a disgrace to all their voice, you don't have to pay to use this guy's voice, this is, now you're selling it. But if they had something, let's just say it was a terminal situation. I hope it wasn't. I hope it was quick and painless for the guy. But let's say that it was a situation where he actually gave Red Hook the authority to use his voice, or his likeness of his voice, using AI to continue the Darkest Dungeon series. And they do. What kind of repercussions do they face? Is that game going to instantly tank? That would be a news fucking story for like all over the internet. What would happen? I don't know.
I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thought, but
Dude, it would be
something they probably won't have to worry about for a while because Darkest Dungeon 2 is not that old.
Right. I don't know, man. But I'm so saddened to hear this, and you know, I wish his family the best. And I mean, geez, what a great actor. But it'd be like if the dude who does Nathan Drake, I forget his name now. Oh, for some reason.
Nolan North?
What if Nolan North died and Uncharted, they were making Uncharted with Nathan Drake? What the fuck would they do?
I mean, they did. Now, granted, he's not dead, but, you know, Troy Baker did Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Do you think they would just hire...
And that's clearly Harrison Ford lookalike.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. It's interesting.
It's a weird question to ask. I mean, they replaced Silence and Horizon. You're not going to find a voice similar to Wayne June. That's all. I don't know. Why'd your face light up like that? You made a fucking face.
Sorry, I was looking at stuff online and something popped up that just shocked me. So
about Wayne June?
No.
Okay.
I was scrolling through some stuff about like I looked up Wayne June, but like there was like some other, you know, shit popping up in my feed, and it was just something completely unrelated. It's not important.
Well, he got his start doing like sex books. He would do voiceover work for sex books.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. So you might get something like that.
Amazing.
Yeah. He had a good voice for that too, apparently. But anyways, moving on. The classic 30th anniversary themes from the PlayStation 5 are going to be disappearing. However, Sony indicates in the months ahead they will be making a return in some way. This is kind of a non-news story. We knew they said they weren't going to be permanent, and that's weird that I think they're actually already gone. And I don't know if they're going to charge for them when they put these back out or what they're going to do with them, you know. So, anyways, I don't really have an opinion on that. Jake, do you have anything?
No, I mean, I've enjoyed it while it lasted. Honestly, the thing that I'm going to miss most is the startup. I mean, the actual themes are like whatever. I don't really care about that. I can go back to the PS5 one, but I'm going to miss that like startup sound.
Yeah.
And the classic PS1 kind of style to it.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if we could just kind of have a way to turn that back on, but yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, Focus is, Jake, they're working on more Space Marine 2 content. And, they said they're working on more player versus enemy and player versus player maps for the game. And there's been, unfortunately, some critical feedback from gamers voicing their displeasure with post-launch content, just saying that there hasn't been a whole lot. Might I remind everybody that this game did not have multiplayer initially, and they delayed the game to develop multiplayer for the game. So you being pissed off that there's not post-launch multiplayer shit, go fuck yourself, because this game is cool, and just know what you're talking about. Like, this is a studio that, they're not a AAA studio. Their initial, they probably didn't even think the game was going to be super successful to begin with. It probably play tested well. They probably had some pressure to do some online shit, and they figured it out for everybody. So for you to get this game and then be pissed that they're not continuing to support what was essentially a single player game just seems a little needy and a little entitled. But I am happy that they're working on additional shit to this game. I'll be honest. It'll be cool. I'm excited like everybody else. New maps, we can use them. New atmospheres, that'd be cool. I'm curious to see what the player versus enemy shit is going to be. They're going to wrap more story into this. I don't know. Jake, any impressions? Any feedback on this?
I mean, I'm maybe not quite as hostile as you about it, but this is the poison, and I don't want to say poison because that makes me sound hostile too, but like this is like how everything having to be a live service has sort of rotted the brains of gamers or trained gamers into thinking that just because a game has a multiplayer mode means that it needs to be supported with new content constantly and forever. And it's like, this game, Space Marine 2, is a classic example of what video games of old, and I say old meaning back to like PS3 or earlier, what they were like. It's like you got a great single player game and you got a multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
And those games weren't fucking updated constantly with new maps and new enemies and new armor and new fucking guns and new, emotes and new freaking bling for your ball sack or whatever the hell you like.
Yeah.
But like, and
helmets.
So, and the thing is that these same people, I have a feeling if Focus were to come out and say, here's an expansion that's got a bunch of shit in it, it costs $20, they'd lose their mind because it costs money.
Yeah.
So like,
even $10 they'd probably be pissed.
Right. So like, I think that there's the problem is that the lines are being blurred, but this is a very different multiplayer experience from say something like a Destiny, or even like honestly even a Helldivers.
Right.
Which is like, I mean, Helldivers is basically a multiplayer game in its DNA. Whereas that is not what Space Marine is. Space
not
Marine
even close.
is, I would argue, a single player, or at the very least, like a campaign-focused co-op game in its DNA.
Yeah.
And it has a multiplayer component. So, yeah, I mean, nobody was losing their minds because Naughty Dog didn't add a bunch of maps and shit to factions after a few months of The Last of Us coming out. But even though that multiplayer was wildly popular. So it's just, I think we're in a different place. People have different expectations of games, and I don't necessarily think that it's correct. I don't think that their opinion is necessarily wrong. I just think that their expectations are.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, and I wasn't trying to be hostile. It's just like, everybody has a platform now, and everybody wants to be critical of things. And it's just like, can't you just say thank you for making a rad game? Because, like, everyone just wants more, and they want it yesterday. And if they don't get it, then they're just upset. And I'm just tired of that entitlement shit. It's like, shit takes time, and time is money to these studios. And, Focus really should be doing the math on this one. And maybe not dump too much more time and money into a game that they're adding this post-launch content is probably not going to really bring them more sales of that game. You know what I mean? I would think that it wouldn't. I don't buy games because it's got a couple DLC packs available for it. I buy it for what it was, and the game had a nice run, dude. But to pressure them now and say that you're pissed off that they're not supporting it post-launch is crazy. Because they have supported it post-launch. They're just not churning shit out the way you want them to. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. Here we go. Hermen Hulst. No longer the co-CEO of PlayStation. There can only be one, Jake. And I can't say his name. Hideaki Nishino is now the sole CEO of PlayStation. Hideaki, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. But, so I don't really have anything else to really... Hermen Hulst is still with the company, but I don't know a whole lot of this kind of stuff. But this was a news story, and I think that it's interesting that they tried to co-CEO the studio. It was very much an office situation where Dwight and Jim, or Andy and Jim, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Dwight and Jim both were the... no, it wasn't Dwight. It was Jim and Will Ferrell's character. And Will Ferrell jumped into the office for a bit after Steve Carell quit, and they were both the boss. And it was really fucking funny. And they would always get their directives screwed up. And, I mean, I don't know if Hermen Hulst is so much to blame as the issues with Concord and these other games, as much as maybe just trying to progressively have your company ran by two bosses. I mean, there could have been like a push and pull there between these two guys. I don't know.
I think it's interesting that Hermen Hulst got elevated to CEO and literally, 7-8 months later, got the boot back down the ladder. And it almost certainly has to do with all of this live service debacle and them canceling all these games and wasting all this money and time and opportunity costs and all this crap. But I always thought, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it was a bad strategy for them to try the two CEO approach. I just don't understand why they elevated Hermen Hulst of all people. Maybe it's because they didn't have anyone else and they wanted to elevate someone from within. Maybe it was because they didn't realize at the time a lot of the decisions that he had helped spearhead were going to be such huge failures. But it's kind of interesting. I don't know enough about Hideaki Nishino to know whether or not he deserves the role, but sounds like he's the guy now. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of opinion about this other than the fact that it's interesting that he could be elevated to the role of CEO and then literally 8 months later be demoted.
Yeah.
And before he would arguably even have the chance to really do anything in that capacity. So it's just kind of interesting. Sony's, I think, starting after all of this stuff that's been going on with the company and the games and the live service, they're starting to really focus in like a laser on just all of the inefficiencies and the bad decision making and everything that they've spent money on in the gaming space. And I think this is just a product of that. Interesting.
Well, could be, might not be. Will we ever find out? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it is an interesting thing, but I don't know enough about it. Talk about it, really. And then the last news point, and then we'll get into the games coming out this week, and then we'll be done for the week for you all, is an old PlayStation title developed by Quantic Dream called Beyond Two Souls is getting a TV series. And the TV series is being bought by Elliot Page's company. So that's curious and interesting. They went on to say that, doing the game had been one of the most challenging experiences in acting. So that's interesting.
I'm curious about this because Sony owns Beyond Two Souls. So I don't really know how, because I don't think Sony's involved in this.
No.
So I'm not really sure how that's all playing out from a business. I mean, maybe Sony just doesn't give a shit, or maybe they have like a stake in it or something.
Wait, do you think is Quantic Dream owned by Sony?
No, it was a second party game.
But you think they own the IP, or maybe Quantic Dream retained it?
I doubt it. Sony owned all IP that they paid for back in the day. But it's possible that maybe there was a little something in their contract about like TV and movie rights or something like that. But typically Sony would hold all of that as part of the deal of paying for the project. So I could be wrong.
It does say on the website that Sony owns Beyond Two Souls and Detroit Become Human. Quantic Dream owns Heavy Rain. So Beyond Two Souls is a trademark of Sony right now. So I don't know. So you are right.
So we'll just have to see how that plays out. I mean, it could be an interesting TV series. I never finished it. I got so annoyed with the game after the first, half hour, an hour. I just didn't want to play it.
I honestly don't remember much of it. It was one of the few games made by Quantic Dream that had the least impact on me.
It was just it was non-linear, and it kind of threw everybody off, and it was really jarring, and it was just such a bummer after Heavy Rain, because Heavy Rain was so fucking good. And then Quantic Dream, or Beyond Two Souls was supposed to be this big thing because it had Ellen Page at the time, and not it had Willem Dafoe in it, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And like some other people. So like it was supposed to be a big deal, and it just kind of came out and was kind of meh.
Yeah.
And
Expectations were
know.
high for it.
It might be a good TV show though.
Yeah, she had like a superpower. Anyways, let's get into new games this week, Jake, and then we're going to be done. This has been a long episode. We're really treating the listeners. We're in an hour and 20 minutes already. And new games this week. Let's get through them. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on PS5, February 4th. Also, Rogue Waters on PS5, February 4th. February 6th, Ambulance Life, a paramedic simulator on PS5. Big Helmet Heroes on PS5. It's who the fuck? The Hammer Brothers. It's about the Hammer Brothers. I'm just kidding. Luck Be a Landlord, PS5, PS4. Momodora, Moonlit Farewell on PS5. Moons of Darsalon on PS5, PS4. Under Defeat on PS5, PS4. February 7th, Sugoro Quest, Dice Heroes. That game is cool looking. It's an old Japanese game that never made it to North America, and it's kind of like a board game thing where you fight enemies by like randomly throwing dice. It's cool as shit. But anyways, that's all there is, and for the show. And I don't know, Jake, if you have anything you want to say before we wrap things up or not. That is up to you. I got one last thing I'd like to leave the listeners with before we close. But how about you?
Nope. I'm good. I'm gonna go make some dinner and chillax for the night, and then yeah, that's it.
Good. Last thing I want to say is our vinyl record, One of My Land's second album, was never put out on vinyl. Finally is put out on a record label called Chumpire, and it is available to order online now. It is $20. It comes with a lyric sheet and a sticker. The album title is called Nobody Wants to Leave. It came out, I think, in 2016? Maybe 2019? 2019, I think it came out. But it is now available on vinyl, and it sounds better. It's been remastered, and it's been cleaned up. It sounds nice. It's a good release. We're happy. All of our full lengths are now available on vinyl. And you can pick it up at oneifbyland.bandcamp.com if you want to get yourself a copy. And it will ship out relatively quickly. So that being said, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Weekend. We'll be back next week on Wednesday. Again, we air every Wednesday on YouTube and your preferred streaming platforms. And if you subscribe for just $1 a month on our Patreon, you can get access to the episodes every week on Monday or Tuesday, usually a day or two before it comes out for everybody else. And we'll send you a sticker. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with episode 364. And Tamarin, Taxi Chaos, and Tecmo Super Bowl. P.S. This is awesome.
This is awesome.
Ruin has come to our family.